So I have to today do an imaginary clapboard at action because I am clearly not in my ninth floor Manhattan area. I am in southern Florida at the home of my in-laws. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law is nearing the end of her life and the whole family has gathered here. Now we're just waiting it out. This is my son. I haven't mentioned him terribly often, but he's here with me, and it's such a rare thing because he lives on the West Coast and I live on the East Coast. I have spoken of him in a recent episode because I knit two sweaters for him, and he had a friend take a video of one of them. So I'll insert that video, maybe here, maybe at the end. I'm not sure yet. I have to wait until I get back to New York to edit this piece.
How is it? How's the sweater?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, also.
Fresh from the mom factory.
Yeah, right. There you go. All that skill, talent.
They got like the ribs in it.
Yeah.
Kind of like pattern.
All right, stay there. Let's see. I'll try from here. Let's see if we can. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Wait, let's see if we can get. Face me a little bit if you can.
To my left.
Rotate to counterclockwise. Yeah, clockwise.
But I thought while we were here, and I would give you a chance to see the palm trees and introduce you to my son Blake, the person other than myself who I most love to knit for. No sweaters here. Although yes, I'm wearing something that I made a while back. Vintage 1930s. I think it's called Slit Neckline. Anyway, last episode I showed you what I was working on, and I selected two things to travel with because they're both very compact. And I wanted to have two because one is complicated and the other is, I'm at the point where it's mostly stockinette. So you might remember I'm working off of my Color Mart NM 2/30 lace weight extra fine merino left over from my Genie project. And I am knitting a lace scarf called the Ibiza something or other. I'll put the name on the screen. I have made some progress on it, and it's getting hard to show you the length. So I think what I'm going to do from here on out is drape it around my neck, and we'll go by how much of an overlap I have. So this week I am up to here. I think it's quite a bit of progress since I last showed it to you. It's way too hot here for wool, I can tell you that. I think it's been in the 80s and even into the high 90s while we've been here. The other project I brought along with me is the Rosary Vine Shawl. I think last time I showed it to you, I had only just cast on. So now you can see some of the lace. When this is blocked out, it's going to open up, and I think it'll be even more attractive than it is. But I chose this yarn because I thought it harmonized really nicely with a cardigan that I knit that's more like a forest green or teal. I don't know if you can see this too well. It's multicolored. It's kind of like iridescent, like oil would be on water. Anyway, Blake, you remember that I have a couple of favorite flowers.
Pansies.
I didn't prepare him for that question, but as I was knitting this, I thought that these kind of were taking on the shape of a pansy. It's not coming out so well on the screen, but I'm not sure how it's going to be when it's blocked, but there you might get a pretty good look. So I'm at the part now where it's just a bunch of stockinette short rows. For people who don't know what short rows are, you knit to a certain place, not to the very end of the row. I have it marked with a little red stitch marker. So right now I'm knitting to here, knitting a little bit past it, and then turning my work around In other words, I'm not going all the way to the end of the row. And the same thing on the other end. When I get to here, I'll go a little bit past it and then turn the work around and knit back or purl back, whatever the case may be. What that does is makes it narrow at the end and wider as you get to the center, because in here I was knitting back and forth shorter distances and I kept going further and further out, which means that these stitches out here haven't been knit yet at all. I hope that's kind of clear.
So what you're trying to achieve is a narrower waist, or which part is narrower?
This is not a waist. This is going to be another shawl. So the ends of the shawl are going to be slim, and it's going, as it goes around my neck where I need more coverage, it'll be this wider part, like the back of the neck.
Okay.
Someday when it's completed, I'll be able to throw it around my shoulders and you'll see. But it's working up really fast. I don't have too much more to go. You can see that I'm almost at the end here. And once I've gone back and forth a few more times, I will have incorporated these last set of stitches. And I think I'll be almost done at that point. So, okay. You know that usually I talk about vintage knitting. Today I don't have a lot more knitting to show you, but I have a couple of interesting anecdotes to share. We've been here at my mother-in-law's house for 2 weeks now, and it's chock-a-block full with antiques and all kinds of interesting objets d'art, porcelain, ceramics. What's that thing on the wall with the weather? Whether it's going to be raining or clear. What is that called? A chronograph? A chronometer?
I don't know.
Chrono something.
What's the thing that turns?
That's a weather vane.
Weather vane.
No, not that. Well, there is a weather vane in the kitchen. But the thing that's hanging on the wall by the front door, it's really antique. It's really beautiful. I probably should take a picture and insert it here.
An almanac?
No, it's not an almanac, but there's so many interesting things here. My mother-in-law, I think I should still say is, because she is still alive. She's a very good cook. And her kitchen is chock-a-block full of cookbooks. But I found a couple of cookbooks in the garage. And when I saw this one, it immediately made me think of my son, because the summer after his freshman year at MIT, he was hired by Google as a summer intern in Silicon Valley. And I decided that I wanted to take him to this restaurant called Chez Panisse, which is in Berkeley, California. I had heard from somebody I know who has eaten in a lot of the world's top restaurants that Chez Panisse was considered one of the best restaurants in the United States. I don't know if it still is, but this is about, what, a decade ago already that you were there?
Yep.
Alice Waters has the distinction of being one of the first people who did farm to table. Behind her restaurant, she has a vegetable garden. A lot of the foods that she serves there are plucked out of her garden. So I found this cookbook. Immediately I thought of Blake. I just wanted to show you the inside because the illustrations are really quite charming. They're almost like
those leeks.
Right, those were leeks and
lemons.
I don't know. Yes, this is a recipe for pollo al matone with lemon and garlic. So there's a picture of lemon with a little ladybug. That's a whole other story, a Mama Pearl recollection. Blake's other grandmother was, I don't know, something happened with ladybugs in her life. What are these, artichokes?
Olives.
Olives, green olive relish. So just wanted to share that. You
Pardon.
can't be on here if you're going to behave like that.
No, I'm tired.
Ooh, hello, salamander. I also found this right beside the cookbook, which is a kid's book, A Child's Restaurant Adventures with 46 Recipes, Fanny at Chez Panisse. So it's kind of like a takeoff of like Heloise at the Plaza. But the illustrations here are adorable as well.
What does it say on the back here? It said, her daughter Fanny's stories. Alice Waters' daughter, stories of this busy place are a friendly and funny introduction to the delights of restaurant life.
And her recipes show how easy and inexpensive it is to make good food with basic ingredients and simple techniques.
More than a cookbook, it's like the day in the life of how to run a restaurant, I guess. I haven't looked at this.
Yeah, we didn't read it, but the illustrations were too cute to resist. Now, a visit to Anita's kitchen would not be complete without some vintage objects. This one is particularly fascinating to me because you slide this down and it opens up. Now, maybe somebody knows what this is used for. I'm guessing that you would put something in here, close this up, and maybe like stick it in a deep fryer. But what? It's too small for French fries. Just to give you perspective, here's the palm of my hand. It's not much smaller than the palm of my hand.
Maybe strainer, but what would you strain?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If anybody knows, comment below. And then there's this, which this one might be for separating eggs.
Hard-boiled egg.
But there's another one in the kitchen. I didn't bring it out, which is like a wire whisk. It's similar to this, but it's oriented this way.
Well, this looks like if you're making a hard-boiled egg, you just like, it's like a way to scoop it out.
Oh,
boiling water.
maybe. I was thinking separating an egg yolk from the egg whites. Just crack the egg in here, and then the whites will come out, and the yolk would stay behind.
Multi-purpose.
Maybe. And there's probably other uses for it. Anyway, since I love vintage, I thought I would share a couple of vintage things.
What's this?
Yeah, this one I don't know.
It's like a spoon.
Maybe for mashing potatoes. Maybe. Okay, if you know.
These are objects that are just there. They have no use. Maybe that's the reason.
They're decorating her kitchen. Well, they're a little bit grungy. Like you wouldn't want to use them today, but love the wooden handles. I have a couple of things like this from my own mother, so I'm hoping that my sister-in-law will let me keep these so I can maybe make a display in my own kitchen someday.
This looks like wire hair in a cartoon. Just looks like these little curly.
Yeah.
That'd be funny to have this is a kitchen full of things that are useless, but just are like made to look like the real thing. Like you have a spatula made with those curly things, and just a cartoon kitchen.
Well, Noni was queen of kitchen gadgets. Most of them she used. I think these antique ones she didn't use. They're rusted and.
Are they from her mother's house?
Ooh, too late. We can't ask her. She's heavily medicated now on morphine around the clock. There's no more conversations to be had. So maybe Aunt Pearl would know. We could ask. She may know. I'm kind of doubting it. Noni liked to go antiquing up in the Berkshires, and there's so many beautiful things. I probably should show those plates. You know what? Let me pause and be right back. These plates are so gorgeous. These are from Bavaria, Germany. Don't know how old they are, but they're really in mint condition. Each one has a different bird and some kind of flower, foliage, I don't know, but I love this one, this little pink poof. Don't know what that plant is. I don't think it's cotton because it's so pink. Maybe there are birders out there who can tell us what types of birds these are. but the vegetation is so pretty. They're just so beautifully done. I don't know if you can see that there's decoration within the white porcelain. It's sort of like a raised motif
Closer. Well,
at the edge. I guess if the light hits it just right, you might be able to see it. Here's the mark on the back if anybody's interested in that. It says something like Mittertach, Bavaria, Germany.
And each one has a unique number.
Oh, they do?
Yep.
Oh, 053053.
Well, what about that one? Different number.
021. That's probably the number of the person who painted this. So that's like a little quality control type of thing, is my guess. Here's some beautiful, what are those, hummingbirds?
Maybe.
That suck little nectar with a little beak like that? I don't know. Comment below.
We could do a reverse image search and just find it. I don't have a device that can do that right now, but
Oh, be my guest. Go ahead.
But I would need a different one.
Smarty pants.
I have only right now this tablet. I don't know if it's if it has that function. Do you have your phone or my phone's somewhere?
I do.
Okay, maybe you try it on yours.
I don't know how to do it. Here you go. Be my guest. Maybe I pause while we're. So before you do it, tell the people what you're doing. Hopefully my American Express card number is not divulged. I'm good.
Well, just did an image search for this plate here, and we got, well, all these different results for plates. It's not exactly telling us which bird it is, but maybe we'd read it. We can go and find it. And this is a slightly different plate, but maybe the same series, different shape.
No, that's from Portugal.
Yeah, different.
But can you just identify the bird?
Yeah, let me take a closer up photo because I had the whole plate. Maybe just that. Yeah, it's giving us too many
Are you able
hummingbirds.
to search?
It says hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds.
But now if I ask what kind of bird is this?
You can't ask questions of it.
Yes.
But how do you do an image search? Just Google images?
Yeah, well, in the mobile app, there's like a photo icon next to the search bar. Push that and then take a picture. You can type something with the picture. So yeah, what kind of bird is this?
So they're called Anna's hummingbirds.
I guess.
Shiny among birds, Annas are medium-sized and stocky for a hummingbird. They have a straight, shortish bill and a fairly broad tail.
Oh,
I'm curious to know about, not this bird, but about this plant. I want to know about the pink pom-pom puff, powder puff. And the results are thistle.
Or burdock.
Or burdock.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't tell. To me, it looks more like that.
It looks fluffy, cottony.
Put that with the plate.
Oh, well, I guess it's similar, but this looks very like fluffy, fuzzy. This one. Okay. So that's all I got for you today. I'm traveling. I'm not going to be able to put out episodes with my regular frequency, but I do have an interview coming up with a woman who's got some vintage spinning wheels. So probably shortly after I air this, I'll be coming out with another episode There are a couple of things planned, but I got to get back to New York eventually and get my life back together. It's been a really rough year for me, as some of you who have watched this podcast before will know. Anyway, we're going to get back to our family now, but I didn't want you to miss seeing me. I hope everybody's well and enjoying the summer, and happy July 4th. Take care, everybody. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Gracie. And we're going to go. Yeah, but I want to record it to the cloud.
I think it is.
How do you know it's being recorded to the cloud?
What? You're doing it through the browser, so